So I'm Jen Beatson-King, and thank you, Roland. I'm going to start now. I was sitting up here and I was just freezing, and then this little old lady came up and she goes, "Yeah, so am I." She had a scarf over her, and then she had something over her head, and she was cold all the time. So there's somebody out here who has a grandmother who was little and skinny and cold all the time. Would anybody be able to take this lady? Okay, all right, what's your name?
I'm Jude.
Jude, can I come to you?
Absolutely.
Okay, you understand that she liked to wear a scarf, and she didn't like to move around too much because she was so cold all the time. Yeah, and if she went into the kitchen, it was really quick to get what she had to get, and then get back and sit down and put the blanket on. Okay, yeah, and she loved wool blankets. Like, yes, she thought wool was the best. Do you recall her having something over her head as well to keep her warm?
Yeah, sometimes she'd throw her
Scarf. Yeah, okay. All right, so she's come and she's made me really cold. So I'm just gonna ask her for a message. She wasn't a quiet lady. She was a very, very determined lady, because she didn't have any problem coming in, and she could give you her opinion quite freely. Would you understand that?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So she's pretty much saying, "Suck it up." Okay. I was like, okay, all right. So I'm trying to get the energy warm again. And anyway, so she's just given me a shawl as well to put over myself. She was very kind and very compassionate. Yes, okay. We're just going to go to message now for you. Okay. She said sometimes it doesn't matter how you cover things up. If you continually put wool blankets on, shawls on, things to cover yourself up, she said sometimes the problem is still there. So she's just saying that, what's that word? I don't get that word. She doesn't have it either. Metaphorically, I guess. Yeah. So she's saying it's okay to shed these garments and get right to the issue. And so she wants you to get right to the issue. Would you understand what she's saying? Yeah, and she said, and don't worry about what anybody else says, because you're going to open up and you're just going to say. And so she just pulled off all her clothes and said, like me. She said, I call a spade, and you've got to do that too, my dear. Would you understand that?
I do.
Okay, I'm going to thank her for a spirit, soul, and light, and I'm going to ask her to sit way in the back by Marietta. All right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Oh, and she had no trouble walking through a crowd and being the first. Would you understand that?
Yeah.
Yes, because there are like 4 other people here. She just came in the back door. Okay, all right. All right, the next person here. Well, I had pickled eggs. Pickled eggs came in, and I'm going, okay, what am I going to do with these pickled eggs? Then a gentleman came in behind the pickled eggs, and then a lady came in behind the pickled eggs. But the lady was quite bossy, but it's a gentleman that wants to come into the conversation. So, okay, so he would have called her mother, especially when he was a little bit upset with her. Would anybody have a father here who loved pickled eggs? I'm not getting anybody here so
I
far.
know somebody who loves pickled eggs, but it's not a father.
Okay, it's an elderly gentleman?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And him and his wife are in spirit?
Yes.
Okay, may I come to you, Petra?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Pickled egg was the thing. Would you understand she would make pickled eggs as well?
I don't believe so. Well, how elderly are we talking?
Well, I'm talking like 60s.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Okay.
You're calling me elderly.
Oops, middle age.
That's middle age.
Maybe
Yes.
middle age? Okay, all right. So she did most of the talking, would you understand that? And he was more on the quiet side.
Probably.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so she doesn't want to sit back and let him
Oh.
talk. Yeah, she wants to come forward, but he's saying, no, just stay there, right?
Yeah.
Did you understand that with
Yes.
him? Yeah, okay, all right. So he's saying, I'm still eating pickled eggs where I am now, okay? But I'm eating more than that because he had a bit of a belly on him. So he loved food, right? He was a foodie guy. And she's not really plump. She's a little bit more on the skinnier side, yeah. It's like she fed him all the time. Okay, all right, I'm just going to come to message for you, okay? All right, so he's saying, oh man, he said it doesn't matter what quirks we have in life, right? And he's saying sometimes things that we like in life are a little bit different, right? Or the foods that we like, that we crave are a little bit different. So sometimes the things are a little bit different. So he said, that doesn't matter. That's what we like. So he said, if you're out to do something a bit different, good, do it, okay? Do it for yourself. Don't do it for anyone else. He ate his pickled eggs for himself because he liked them. So he's going, you do the pickled egg thing for yourself, okay? All right, may I leave that with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay, we'll just go to the next person. I'm going to thank him for coming in Spirit's Love and Light and let him go. All right. Okay, I have this young lady, and I would say I want to put her around her 30s. Very vibrant, very vivacious, wore really nice clothes, like a little bit eccentric in the clothing, and nice jewelry. Just a wonderful person. She loved everybody. She was really high-spirited. She loved life. When she passed, as her passing was, she even embraced her passing. Like she was even fine and happy with the passing. Would anybody be able to take this young lady? Okay. Around 30 or so, and I want to say that she probably died of, she's giving me a disease process that she had. I want to say it's cancer that she passed away of.
Well, it could be an old school friend.
Okay.
And she passed out of cancer, yes.
Okay, is there anybody else? Right, I'm just going to keep going.
Sorry,
No, I'm just going to keep going a little bit
Yes.
more. Okay. Okay, she didn't really tell too many people that she was sick, right? She was not a person to, even though she was like vivacious, she was not a person to give her personal problems to anybody. So it was her friends, her close friends, and her family that she gave that information to. Can anybody else take this girl? Just you, I think, Petra again. Okay. All right, may I come to you again?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Okay, so we're just going to bring a message for you from her. Okay, so she said that you're very outgoing, you like to explore things. She liked to do things as well, right? She was a little bit different. And that goes the same kind of message with the pickled eggs. That goes back to that. It's like, yeah, if you want to try something different, don't give yourself a ton of excuses why not to, okay? Just go out there and do it. And do it because you want to do it. Don't do it because other people around you want you to do it or not to do it. So it's for yourself. Would you understand that? Okay, all right. May I leave that with you?
Yes, thank you.
And she's going to sit right in the front there. So I'm going to thank her for coming in Spirit's Love and Light. Okay. All right. I have this gentleman here, and he's in his 40s, and man, he is so handsome. And he's said he knows he's handsome. He knows he's handsome. He had a moustache at one time. He's got dark hair, short dark hair. He was in mechanicking. He did mechanicking. So he always dressed very nicely, even when he was doing that. He wore, a lot of the times he wore black. There's something else he was going to tell me. Oh yes, he was very particular about his tools. he would, if he made a mess, it was his mess. But don't you dare touch my tools, because they're my tools, they're nobody else's, and I can make a mess. Can anybody take this gentleman? A mechanic. It's Jude, right? Jude, you can take him. What can you take about him?
That he was a mechanic and passed away at 39, so.
Okay, all right, okay. And you understand that he was very particular about his tools?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And that if he dirtied them, it was okay, but if somebody else tried to come in and use them, he didn't like it. Okay. And he was definitely handsome. This would be a relative of yours?
Yeah, it was my father.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. He liked everybody, you know, and everybody liked him. He didn't have to do anything for people to be attracted to him, right? The ladies really liked him. Yeah. But, you know, but he was over here and the ladies were over there. He was nice and polite and pleasant, but over there, right? Because he had his family here. Yeah, very loyal to his family. But could carry a conversation on with anybody. Okay. He told me that he could be the life of the party by just being present with people. Would you understand that?
Yeah.
Yes? Yeah, okay, all right. I want to get a little bit more about his mechanicking. He had showed me, he was like restoring a car, and he showed me this big round piece of metal that goes onto a car. Would you understand him restoring a car at one time?
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah, okay. He was very good at what he did, very articulate, everything in its place and a place for everything. Yeah, and if he took an engine apart and he would clean the pieces and he would have them all lined up. And don't you touch them,
Yeah.
right? Nobody can touch them. Okay, all right. So he's covered with lots of love and he's fun, right? He's a fun person to be around. Yeah, I'd love to be around him. Okay, we'll just give you a message and see what he says with the message there. And I'm trying not to look down at the ground. Look up for the message. He's kind of right there, and he's laughing. Do you understand that he's come through before?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, because it didn't, he was smiling and laughing when he came through. Like it was easy. Once he did something once, like he had a good memory, really good memory, and he could do that same thing really easily. Okay, that's what, kind of the message, that's kind of the message. You know, when you learn to do something once, he said you tend to think you forgot how to do something, but he said, really, if you really put your mind to it, he said, which you can dig it up and bring it out. It's like, he said, driving to somebody's house that you've never been before and you're not paying attention because you're the passenger. He said, if you wanted to go there again and you wanted to drive, you have to think about how to get there, and you can. He said, I have so much confidence in you, but you need to have confidence in yourself. Would you understand what he's saying?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So, and of course he says that with the utmost grace towards you. Okay? Yeah. So I'm going to thank him for coming in Spirit's Love and Light, and he's going to sit over here beside you. Okay? Right. Okay. Now I had this gentleman that came in, and this is a little bit of an odd thing. He had trouble with his mouth, with his tongue, talking. So I saw him in a bed. It was probably a palliative bed. And he was an elderly gentleman towards the end of his life. He couldn't really talk. He couldn't articulate. There was something wrong with his tongue. From his brain to his tongue, it wouldn't transmit. So he wants you to know that he still was in here, but he wasn't out here so much. Can anybody take this gentleman?
Somewhat.
Okay, what can you take?
I could take that because of the disease that he had. There was always a space, like if you asked him a question, he might answer 5 minutes later.
Okay.
that's what I can tell.
Okay, and
That's
what,
elderly, there you are.
elderly, and what can you take?
My dad was elderly, he was bedridden and he really couldn't articulate. He was on barbiturates, so he
Okay.
really couldn't articulate.
Okay,
his
can
words.
anybody else take this gentleman? Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm with you. Excuse
I'm
me.
pretty sure you're.
Yeah, excuse me, Donna. Yeah, okay. May I come to you, please?
Yes.
Thanks, Cecile. And I do know Cecile, but I don't know her dad. Okay, yeah, so he's saying that he didn't want family to remember him in that way. He wants family to remember him when he was fit and robust and in his 60s and at the prime of life. So he said, you know, he said, I'm just saying this to you because it's better to take away the memory of the last 6 months that I had here and put in the memory of when you were younger, okay, when he was here. So this is part of his message. He's going to go on to say, sometimes it's very frustrating when you have it in here and you can't bring it out and take it out. So he apologizes for being frustrated at times. Would you understand what he's saying?
Yes.
Yeah, so he said he really apologizes for that because he didn't mean that. And it was just his body. His body, it was his body, not his soul. All right. Oh, yeah. He said you are pretty quiet. And he said sometimes you don't articulate what you think. Okay?
Yes.
Yes. So he said you're not like me. You didn't have a problem, right? He said you're very smart. You're very intelligent. He said if you want to articulate something to somebody, there's going to be no consequences for it, right? No lashback on it. So just remember, you can tell somebody whatever you want, and if they can't accept it, that's their problem, not your problem. Because you talking to somebody, you do it for the benefit of that person, okay? Not for your benefit. Do you understand what he's saying?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. And I'm going to ask him to leave in Spirit's love and light, and he's going to sit behind you.
Thank you.
Sit behind you, not lie in bed behind you. Okay, are we good?
One more?
One more. Ooh, can I bring it in? Okay. Oh, I'm having a hard time breathing here. Oh, this gentleman just walked in. Very, very large gentleman. Has a hard time breathing. He passed of congestive heart failure, and I don't see him being like more than 50 years old or 55 years old. And he was, towards the end of his life, he was on oxygen. Can anybody take this gentleman? A larger gentleman? Oh, Jude
I
again!
knew I had to come tonight, the Brownies are here.
This is a relative of yours? Yeah, okay. All right, may I come to you, please? Okay, all right. I don't know what the other people said, but I'm just going to bring him forward and ask him. And he's very slowly walking forward, okay? So you were very, very patient with him. You understood that he had difficulties in walking and then even in talking. So, you know, I'm just going to ask him to take that breathing away so I can talk properly here. If he could, he would have done things for people, right? He would have helped people if he could, but he couldn't. And that was a frustration for him because he didn't know how to get out of that large body that he was in. And that really hurt him and upset him. If you mentioned that to him, he would start crying. Like he could be quite upset. Would you understand what he's saying? Yes, okay, all right. Okay. He loved everybody, and he treated everybody with respect, okay? And she said the sad thing that not the people around him, but other people, he treated everyone that he met in respect. But the other people that he met did not treat him back with respect. He says he understands that now because of the body that he had, but he didn't understand it when he was here. He figured if you're nice to somebody, they should be nice back to you. But he learned that that wasn't necessarily the truth. Okay, so he's thanking you for sharing with him and being with him and loving him and looking after him. Would you understand that? Okay, I'm going to ask him just to sit in this chair in the corner here and thank him for thank him for coming. Now, he just squeezed down. Yeah, thank him for coming in Spirit's love and light and let him go. And thank you very much, everybody.